Interesting thing happened this week in the U.S. If you haven't been paying attention, there was an election yesterday. I'm recording this, after the election. Pretty, for some people, super happy, and some other people, super upset. It's a crazy time for many, and everybody can feel what they need to feel. But today I want to talk about something that I like to say, that if the answer is no, you got to let it go. And basically what I'm talking about here is you got to be able to embrace what you can control and what you can't control. And what you can really control is your emotions afterwards. I mean, see, the thing is, there's always this liberating truth that can help us move through life with more peace. Again, like if you can't control it, you have to let it go, right? So many times we get fixated on things we have no control of anymore. We just don't. And yet we let it eat us apart. And, especially after a recent election, this principle may resonate even more. Elections stir up strong feelings, and when the results don't go your way, it's easy to feel frustrated, even defeated. But clinging to these things beyond our control can actually drain us. So you did your part. You went out, you campaigned, you shared, you maybe got involved more than most people, or some you went out and you did your vote. But the thing is, whether it's election outcomes or personal challenges or just everyday stressors, learning to let go helps us focus on what we can change. And that's where the real power lies. And that's what we're going to talk about today. When you got to let go, it's difficult, right? It's really difficult sometimes. And sometimes, right? You're like, I got to let go. I got to get past this. There's nothing I can do about it anymore. I got to let go, but it's hard. And the reason for that is a lot of times the reason people have difficulties letting go is because that fear of uncertainty. Because the thing is, letting go often means stepping into the unknown. And again, we've talked about this so many times in this podcast. Our minds want certainty. It wants to know. The mind does not operate very well in a world where it doesn't know, right? So surrendering control can feel unsettling, even risky. Holding on, however, doesn't actually give you any more control. It just traps us in this, this loop of anxiety, because thing is, we're often convinced that if we try hard enough, we can change people or situations. Like we have what's called an illusion of control. And this can keep us in this locked in a cycle of frustration as we, try to will things to be different. But recognizing that we can't control everything, no matter what's going on in your life, can really free us from constant disappointment and allow us to focus on what's within our control, what is within our influence. Right? Because the thing is, when we become attached, not just to the situations, but to the emotions tied to them, that's a problem. So whether it's anger or sadness or frustration, we sometimes hold on to these feelings, hoping that they'll bring us closure, but they don't. See, ironically, these attachments keep us stuck in the past rather than helping move us forward. I get it. We've all been there, and I've been there. Letting go feels like giving up. That can bring up fears of failure or regret, but letting go isn't defeat. It's an intentional choice to prioritize peace over chaos, empowerment over helplessness. It is a strength. Letting go is an act of acceptance. Psychologically, acceptance doesn't mean passivity. Rather, it's choosing to acknowledge what we cannot change and focus on what we can. Studies show that practicing acceptance can reduce stress. It can improve mental well-being. When we accept what's beyond our control, we create space for growth and positive action in areas where, where we do have influence. Again, for many, election outcomes, they're personal, reflecting values, hopes, aspirations for the future. If your candidate doesn't win, it's a natural disappointment or frustration. Or if things don't go your way in your personal life or your professional life, it's natural, again, to feel disappointment or frustration. And it's okay to feel those things. You just cannot exist in them forever. You need to learn how to move forward. You've got to acknowledge your frustrations or your sadness that you may be feeling. It's really interesting. A lot of times, we live in this world where we're banged over the head about be positive, be positive, be positive, where people are completely disconnecting themselves from having negative emotions. Now, I've talked about this on an earlier podcast that you need to learn how to embrace your negative emotions at times. Because the thing is, you cannot bury your negative emotions. If you're having a negative emotion, it's going to cause stress on your body, which is going to release all sorts of chemicals into your system that cause more damage to yourself than just, I'm going to be positive, I'm not going to think about it. So you can have your frustration even if you're one of these uber positive people. Remind yourself that it's okay to feel disappointed because it shows you care. Give yourself some space, experience these emotions, but then gradually allow yourself to let go of what is beyond your influence. You have to just accept what you can't control. While you may wish that the situation were different, by focusing on what we can control, like our responses and actions to things, that helps us shift from frustration to empowerment. Now, again, I know there's a lot of things on, right now. Again, I don't mean to make this about the election. This could be anything. But I understand where everybody's frustrated right now. We're a little angry, especially if you're on the losing side. Now, while national politics affect us all, there's just so much impact we have on our local communities. So as much as you might be looking at national impact, how about considering volunteering, supporting local causes? Engage in places where you can make a difference. If this is something that's really important to you right now, then make it local. It doesn't have to be global. Take a positive action where you live and renew your sense of purpose and then create change that way. And that might help you offset that frustration that you might be feeling. But again, whatever it's going to be for you, letting go of, what had happened you can't control or whatever the outcome may be doesn't mean that you're giving up. And again, that's where the frustration comes from. I think it's from that, frustration of disappointment that they didn't go away, or that they feel like, if I let go, I'm giving up. Again, if it's an election related thing for you, continue to be an advocate for causes that matter to you. Stay informed, be part of your community. But if it's something with a relationship or personal, professional, just simply letting go of you have no control of it just means prioritizing your peace over frustration and focusing on constructive and empowering actions to enrich your life. And for some of you, this might be something that you have to start now. For some of you, may have never done it. You might be holding on to things for so long. You're letting people live in your head. You're letting jobs live in your head. You're letting missed opportunities live in your head, things that you had no control over. So whether, you have to learn how to, let go of an election result or a personal worry or a potential job thing that didn't happen, whatever it is, there are skills that you can practice that can really help you. Number one, reflect daily. Take a few minutes each day. Reflect on what you're holding on to. Ask yourself, did I spend time worrying about something I can't control? This small check-in can really help you become more aware of your mental energy and where it's going. That's the thing about being mindful sometimes. Again, I've talked about your brain. If you don't control your brain is going to control you. So many people are walking around right now out in this world just completely, being controlled by all these negative emotions and thoughts and feelings without actually taking, going in there and doing a little housekeeping. Be aware of where your mental energy is going. For some of you, visualization might work. Just imagine yourself letting go of your worries like a balloon drifting away, freeing up space in your mind. This practice can help you simply just release what no longer serves you. Set new goals. Direct your energy towards what you can control. Maybe it's getting healthier. Maybe it's getting more involved. Maybe it's putting yourself out there more. Setting new constructive goals. Instead of focusing on what you can't change, focus on areas where you can create positive impact, whether it's for yourself, for the community, for your job, for your work, whatever it's going to be. But there is freedom in letting go. I've noticed this about myself. When I tend to let things go and not worry so much about the outcome all the time, they seem to work out. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed there's a little bit of power in when you just decide, whatever happens, happens. And it usually just happens the way you want it to happen. Choosing to let go of what you can't control. Again, whether it was the recent election or someone else's actions or even life's uncertainties, just frees up energy for what truly matters. When you let go, you're prioritizing your mental well-being, and you're choosing to live with more peace and focus. So next time you're caught up in a cycle of worry, ask yourself, can I control this? If the answer is no, let it go. All right. So letting go is just an ongoing practice, but it's one that's just going to lead to profound clarity, resilience, empowerment. Embrace the freedom of focus on what you can change and step forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Again, if the answer is no, let it go. Reclaim your peace one step at a time, all right? That's all I got for you all today. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I hope you are doing better today than you were yesterday. And if you're not, it's okay. It's okay. We all have bad days. I have bad days. I do. My family sees them sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you. I can get down the rabbit hole a little bit as well. I'm just human. I'm just in a point, though, in my life where I recognize it and I'm able to, get myself out of it a little bit. But look, we all have days. And, if you need a few days, you need a few days. It is what it is. Feel your emotions. There's no sense in burying them. You can't walk around with a happy smile on your face. Nothing bothers me. Nothing. No, that's a terrible way to live. Things have to bother you. If they do, they do. Don't bury those emotions. But again, if you can't control it, got to let it go, right? Can I control it? No. All right. I'm letting it go. All right. Listen, I appreciate you all as always. Hope you have a great weekend. And again, as always, I got nothing but love for you.